Ladies, like this is business. Boogie bounce like this is business. Boogie bounce like this is business. Like this.
Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I will be reviewing the new Netflix movie called They Cloned Tyrone, which just came out yesterday and I watched at home, and today I'm just going to be really reviewing it from what I felt about it, especially since, you know, I'm in college and I'm double majoring in both psychology and communications, and I got some opinions about this film that I actually feel like discussing. So let's get to the video, shall we? Okay, so for starters, I just want to let you guys know there are very much spoilers ahead. So if you have not watched the movie yet, full disclaimer, sorry, but I'm going to be spoiling some stuff. So if you ain't watched it yet, I would recommend you go watch it, just so you know you're probably ahead of the curve. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. Anyways, for starters, I just want to point out how I think that the casting for this film is top tier and very amazing. And I love how, you can tell with this film, they were really trying to show representation, especially for, dark skin, brown skin people, and it's no shade to light skin and brighter complexion of people of color. However, it just seems like with Hollywood, they put us in these boxes where, if you're light skinned or you're mixed or racially ambiguous, you are most likely going to be put in a box office big movie. You are going to be picked and put in a very much more better quality movie than a darker skinned person. You will be considered for more roles than a darker skinned person. So I love how they really showed that dark skin, brown skin representation in the film. I really did enjoy it. And I also want to point out how I love how, I think we should take the time to just show appreciation to Teyonah Parris. I think that's how you say her name. If I said it wrong, I truly apologize. But yeah, like, people be sleeping on old girl because she's been so talented. I love her work. Her work in Chirac. Now, y'all can talk all y'all want about Chirac, but her work in Chirac was good. Her work in Dear White People, like the movie before it was even a TV show, was so good. I think that she is a really underrated actress, and she's really good. Like, I kid you not, she's a really good actress. As well as, I think we should take the time to appreciate the fact, like, John Boyega, like, he was famous in his own sense before Star Wars, but I feel like this performance, especially, at least for me, and I think a lot of other people should pay attention to the fact that this performance really showed that he is a star, and he is very much talented and can do work outside of working for Disney or Star Wars. He has that potential, and he's very much a qualified and talented actor. So yes, I just really wanted to point that out as well. Also, I wanted to point out how, once again, per usual, Jamie Foxx was amazing. He was amazing in this film and so humorous. Like, I honestly loved it. I was laughing along with my dad watching this film. Like, it was really good to me. And especially the quality and the message I felt that the film was giving. I felt that it was really good. And so yeah, I would very much recommend that anyone watch it. Now, let's get into the plot. Dun dun dun. Okay, so pretty much the movie starts off with this guy, this local drug dealer that lives in this town or this neighborhood that they call the Glen. And his name is Fontaine, I think, something like that. Yeah, Fontaine. And pretty much he just goes about his day in life being a drug dealer, and pretty much like as the story goes on, he goes to this local motel to pick up some money from a childhood friend or a high school friend of his that is a pimp called Slick. Now, Slick is played by Jamie Foxx, and he's living in this rundown kind of motel. And while there, you know, Fontaine is starting to pick up some money, and as he's picking up the money, he gets shot and killed by this one gang rival of his that he ran over. In the beginning, he ran over him. But he ran over him because I think like he was in his turf or something like that. So, yeah. He runs him over, and then he comes back and he shoot him. And pretty much, he like got shot like 6 times, and he's dead. But in the turn of events, he wakes up the next day and he's like, whoa, what happened? Like, he doesn't even remember what happened the day before. Meanwhile, Slick does, because after the shooting, he came out and he heard it. So that's when then pretty much after that, like, he came back to Slick's motel like, I want my money. But Slick is like, nigga, I gave you the money. And Fontaine was like, what are you talking about? However, Slick was just like, I gave you the money. And then he said, I don't owe you nothing. Okay? Is you playing tricks on me? Because last time I checked, I just saw you got like shot up. They shot you. They didn't ended you. You didn't got killed. So that's when Fontaine's like, what? And then that's when Slick told him, well, you could ask Yo-Yo about it, aka Teyonah Parris. That's her character, Yo-Yo, who is she a prostitute. Yeah, she's a prostitute. So yeah, that's when, and one of Slick's tricks. so like, yeah, that's when Fontaine goes and he's like, okay, we're gonna go find Yo-Yo. So they go find Yo-Yo, and Yo-Yo basically, after bribing her and paying her some money just to even snitch, like, she tells him like, yes, you got shot. They shot your ass up. All of this stuff. She was going in. And that's when he just was like, really? Okay. But there is a difference between what Yo-Yo saw and what Slick saw. Slick actually did see him get shot and who did it. Yo-Yo saw after he got killed, his body being taken away by some pretty upscale truck. And so they follow the truck that did take him, and they follow like where Yo-Yo told them that the truck stopped at. And they go into that house. It's a trap house. And as they looking around, they like, what? Since when is there a break room in a trap house? That's some pretty upscale, suspicious stuff. So that's when, you know, Fontaine getting all his feelings like, oh, and so he gets up and he sees like an elevator, and that's when Fontaine like, I'm finna go down there. And Yo-Yo and Slick like, what? We don't need to be going down there. Okay? This ain't no trap house, most likely, or whatever going on here. We don't need to be here. But, you know, of course, being nosy, they went down there. And when they went down there, they like saw some white dude with a whole afro dancing to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough by Michael Jackson. And, you know, that's when a whole bunch of chaos happened after that. You know, from Slick taking some type of substance that was on a chemistry table in the lab that they found, and Slick accidentally kills the scientist that was down there. Meanwhile, Fontaine ended up looking at what was on the lab table and see it is his dead corpse. And that's when Fontaine like loses it. They gotta get out of there and get out of there quick. And once they leave there, they go to hide out at Yo-Yo grandma's house. And that next day after all of that, they go to the chicken joint because they hungry. And they gotta talk about some things. So, at this chicken joint, pretty much, they just talking, giggling, you know, just talking all that nonsense. And, you know, Fontaine started laughing while they eating the chicken. And Slick like, you know, Fontaine, I done known you all these years. And I ain't not one time seen you smile and laughing. And so that's when Slick like, something's up. Something got to be up. Because why is all of us in this chicken joint laughing like a mug? And this line outside the chicken joint is long in the mug too. So that's when then Slick like throws the chicken and he like, stop. It's in the damn chicken. The substance that they used, the substance that Slick had took back at the lab is in the chicken, the flour. He thought that it was some crack, but it wasn't no crack. And so that's when he was like, what? So they stopped eating the chicken and they eventually like go on a whole wild goose chase to investigate what the hell is going on. And they even sent Yo-Yo to be doing some tricks basically to like get more info, where she finds that they're being recorded every single place. And that's when, you know, after that, they start following this truck. And as they following this truck, they seeing how, okay, the stuff that these people from that lab are using to control people in the neighborhood, they're putting like things in the chicken, some grape drink for like at the church, in the music, in the perm stuff, and then like the stuff you use at the beauty shop. Like they were putting it in everything they could just to keep these people in one place. And so once they realized that, like, you know, the quote unquote man ended up being after them, and he tells them, you know, we just doing this as an experiment, and we want to keep y'all in the hood. We don't want y'all to branch out. Y'all gotta stay right here in y'all community and don't branch out, you know. And as soon as they was finna like be like, nah, screw this, we're finna like, it's finna go down, you know, he had control over Fontaine and Slick because he had cloned them. He had cloned almost everybody in the town for real, for the most part, besides Yo-Yo. So that's when, you know, after that, Fontaine want to be like, I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. I'ma just stay in the hood. I ain't got nothing to worry about this. I'm a drug dealer. This stuff is way above my pay grade. I'm just trying to stay in the hood and do what I gotta do. So, mind you, after all of that occurs, Yo-Yo ain't trying to give up, because Yo-Yo like, this stuff is wrong. We got to do something about it. And so Yo-Yo tries to do her own little Nancy Drew, Judy B. Jones kind of little thing and start investigating. And that's when she gets kidnapped. She got kidnapped, and that forces Fontaine and Slick to want to do something. Especially Fontaine, because, you know, before she even got kidnapped, she came to Fontaine like, hey, we gotta do this, you know, we gotta help our people out. But he still was like, nah. And then, come to find out, Fontaine's quote-unquote mom really was never his mom. It was actually like a tape recorder or like a radio recording of a woman who was never there behind that closed door that was always closed. And that really does something to him. And so, yeah, after all of that, Slick and Fontaine, they devise a plan. So they go and meet up with the ops, aka basically the dude who shot up Fontaine, and who shot up Fontaine in the first beginning part. And so as they meet up, you know, at first the drug dealer was like, I don't believe a damn thing you telling me. But eventually, because Fontaine kept showing up, they was like, okay, yeah. And so they devised a plan, and they would like, if they was devising the plan, like to make it seem like they still going along with the experiment, you know, they would have like prostitutes and things like that, make it seem like they actually doing something like that, but they really not. Whole time they devising a plan. And then after that, you know, while they devising the plan, Yo-Yo is being tortured in the lab, and while she's being tortured, that's when out of nowhere, bam, like they bust through, because they got the whole hood together just to get at these folks. And they take over the lab, they kill the scientists, they break out all of the clones that were in the lab, and they let loose. And in the end, we discovered that Fontaine is very much a clone, and he's a clone of this guy who lost his brother and who was very much older, and he's the original Fontaine. The original Fontaine is older. He's an old man, and he was just like, you don't know everything. I'm helping these white folks because maybe if we just all kind of like, I guess, stayed in our lanes and like try to cooperate with these white folks, we won't have so much violence. There won't be so much murder, all of that stuff. And so that's when Fontaine was just like, nah, bump this. And he was like, how could you do this? This ain't what your brother would want. And he told him, don't tell me anything about my brother because you are a clone. You don't know the whole thing. I was there. I know what I saw. And so in the end, though, Fontaine, the clone one, Fontaine, he pretty much was, he like did a Uno reverse on them. He did a Uno reverse on them and pretty much told the original Fontaine, like he said like a cryptic kind of word that would hypnotize one of the other clones of Fontaine, and he made that clone shoot the original Fontaine. And after that, you know, he left, and they did end up killing they killed the head person in charge of that experiment in that area as well. And in the end, you know, they was like, we're going to Memphis now. We getting the hell out of here. We can't stay in the Glen. We gotta go. And Tyrone decides, and Fontaine decides to go with them and everything like that because Yo-Yo gonna stop tricking. And I think pretty much from what it seemed like at the end, they're going to go to other places to stop it, because in like the middle of the climax of the movie, they basically was like how the Glen was not the only place people were being experimented on. It was other places as well. And so yeah, they going on a mission to stop all of them now. And in the end, you see a guy in California, and his name is Tyrone. And the news people are discussed, like everything that happened in the Glen goes public on the news everywhere. And Tyrone in Los Angeles is looking at it, and he's like, what? And that's when, you know, title card, They Cloned Tyrone. Because that made Tyrone notice, I'm a clone. The fuck? You know? And so, yeah. Now that I'm done spoiling it with that, now I just want to talk about what I thought was interesting about it. I thought that it was pretty interesting how, you know, it seemed like it had a lot of similarities with like the Truman Show. For those who don't know, like the Truman Show, that was like a 90s movie with Jim Carrey in it, and like he was a part of an experiment. They had been experimenting on Jim Carrey's character. I think his name was Jerry or Harry Truman, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, they had been experimenting on him his whole entire life and been recording him. He's been inside one place for the whole entire span of his life and was always being recorded. Everything that he thought was real was not real. It was false and fake. So yeah, I felt like it had a lot of similarities with the Truman Show, as well as like it kind of gave like, what is another one I could compare it to a little bit? Kind of like, pretty much only the Truman Show, yeah. I had to sit there and think for a minute, but yeah, like you could see that it has similarities with the Truman Show, as well as like I noticed how there was a lot of I liked how it raised awareness of the fact like how experimenting on people, especially people of color, because you know, not to dig so deep into it, but this is just facts. Like for many people don't know about the Tuskegee experiment and how like they literally, scientists went down to the South and gave people of color like syphilis and things of that nature, and they were saying, oh, if you have good blood or bad blood, and they were like, we're gonna give you a free meal, we're gonna pay for health care, we're gonna do all these things, knowing that they were giving people of color syphilis. And literally it took forever for them to even acknowledge that they gave these people syphilis, because even the Tuskegee experiment didn't even end, I think, until like the 70s, like the early 70s, I think. Do not quote me though, but yes. So I love that they like kind of dwelled into the fact how experimenting on people of color, that is so important. Then I also liked how, you know, it makes you kind of question like, okay, are we still being experimented? Like literally, it makes you question that. And I know, especially for some people who like conspiracy theories, you know, y'all may like this movie because it makes you question a lot of things. However, you know, I'm not going to question a lot of things. I'm not, personally. But yeah, I also felt like, you know, I enjoyed how it played on a stereotype of how, you know, a lot of people of color are not actually like the stereotypes that they want to try to make us seem like. You know, all of us don't like fried chicken. All of us don't go to no strip club and all of that extra shit. Like, I liked how they pretty much showed how they played on the stereotype of how a lot of people think black people are, how their routines are, how I guess they think every black person get a perm. Every black person don't get no perm. I've never had a perm a day in my life. So, you know, yeah. Also how they were using the music to like mind control them. And I know like a lot of people have been doing a lot of conspiracy theories on like music is controlling people's mind. Like, I kid you not, I think they was like, they said something about it with like when WAP came out I think they were trying to say like, it's gonna pollute the mind, this thing. Which personally, I don't know, you know, everyone don't like the same type of music. Me personally, I don't care. I ain't listening to it, so it don't matter to me. But yeah, then I liked how they talked about pretty much how like gentrification, they really discussed a lot of gentrification, and I honestly enjoyed that. How, okay, you want to keep the, but it seemed like a little like reverse gentrification a little bit, like you want to keep black people down and broke out so people of color can make it. Well, wait, ooh, I said that so wrong. So white people can make it, not people of color to make it. And I just was like, oh, okay, this is something. And so yeah, like it made me question a lot of things, but also made me more socially aware in my own way, you know. So I honestly can say I enjoyed the movie They Cloned Tyrone, and I think that was a really nice picture. It really was. And it make you, my thing is this, you know, with how the movie was, you know, for the longest, it seems like, and no shade, but white people seem to always want to mess up a good thing that anyone has. And that's the honest truth. They want to mess up any good thing that any person has. Any person that is not white, they will mess it, like white people are going to mess it up for you. That's what it said, but it felt like, you know, they want to keep you broken down and in a system where you lost in the sauce. And I personally feel like this is why I you know, even though this stuff with like the affirmative action like is going on, and in Florida they want to kind of change and ban certain type of things when it comes to Black History Month. They could try to change it, and you could try to want to change the rules all you want, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do so I can make it. Because I know at the end of the day, I do want to do something with my life, okay? And I know that all I got to do is keep doing me, worry about me, and keep doing what I need to do when it comes to my education, okay? However, I do feel like, okay, you want to stop everything going on with affirmative action, but let's be realistic. Most white people get accepted into these pretty elite universities, especially because their grandparents, their mother, uncle, somebody in their family probably paid to get a renovation of a gym, built an auditorium, built a gym. You contributed, or you are an alumni member. So, you know, I have my own personal opinions on them wanting to ban affirmative action, but that's okay, because that's not stopping me from doing what I want to do, because I know at the end of the day, I want to be somebody. And it's not about me wanting to, quote unquote, leave the neighborhood that I come from. It's just that I want to do better, so I actually can do something for my neighborhood. This is why I feel so strongly about being a clinical psychologist, okay? Like, I want to help people. I always knew that. I want to help people. So by me wanting and having aspirations to be a clinical psychologist, is simply to open my own private practice so I can come back to my community and help them. Because to this day, I mean, mental health in the Black community, as well as just with people of color, has always been very scarce, okay? Like, people will not want to talk about it. However, it needs to be discussed because you don't want to keep bringing all of this trauma and make these generational curses. You should want to be different. You should not want to be another statistic. You should want to be out of that box. So that's why, you know, I'm so strongly about that, and why I really do feel like, you know, even if you not on that kind of mindset of, oh, I want to do this with my community, I want to, or and all of that, I still would recommend you watch They Cloned Tyrone, because it is a good movie. You will laugh, and it's a really good movie just in general. I strongly would suggest that you watch it. And, you know, for the most part, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're feeling very generous. And thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.